This is the TUTTIO Moan Pro, and it is the first electric bike I have ridden that lets me float over rough streets and loose trails while still climbing steep hills like they are nothing. It delivers serious power without feeling twitchy, and that balance is what won me over. I put this in the category of high power, dual motor, fat tire electric bikes built for riders who want real traction, real range, and real comfort on mixed terrain. I fit that use case pretty well. I commute across cracked pavement during the week, and I wander onto gravel and sand on weekends. I also want something that carries my taller frame and does not feel flimsy. This checks those boxes. It is not a featherweight fitness bike. It is a rugged machine for riders who prioritize stability, torque, and confidence in messy conditions. The design looks tough, but what matters in daily use is how the physical details support the riding. The aluminum frame feels stout without rattles, the full suspension takes the sharp edge off potholes, and the 26-inch by 4-inch tires do more than look aggressive. They create a wide, calm footprint that keeps the bike planted on wet paint lines, loose gravel, and even packed snow. The handlebar height is easy to dial in, and the seat has enough range for taller riders. I am around 6'2", and I found a comfortable position with room to spare. The reach to the bars is on the longer side, which I liked for stability at speed, though I can imagine shorter riders might feel stretched. The liquid crystal display is large and readable in bright sun with a quick glance. The headlight uses a bright light-emitting diode array and has a built-in horn, which sounds like a small car blip and gets attention when I need it. The tail light doubles as a brake light, which makes night rides feel safer. The kickstand is wide and steady, so parking on uneven ground does not feel like a gamble. Controls are straightforward. The right grip has a twist throttle for pure electric riding. The 7-speed mechanical shifter is familiar and does not try to do anything cute. The standout control is a small red button that toggles the motors. I can run it as a single motor for a calmer ride, or press the button and wake up both motors when I want maximum traction and shove. That switch changes the personality of the bike more than any menu setting, and I came to appreciate it on every ride. Setup was painless. Out of the box, I attached the handlebar, the front wheel, the seat, and the pedals. The included tools were fine, and it took me roughly half an hour at an easy pace. I aired up the tires to a comfortable pressure for city riding and gave the brakes a quick check. Cable routing is tidy. There were no rubs or snags, and I did not need to chase down any mystery squeaks. The battery locks in place with a key, and it pulls out cleanly for charging indoors. That little bit of thoughtfulness matters when I do not want to run an extension cord to the garage. On the road, the first takeoff made me grin and then reminded me to respect it. With both motors engaged, the throttle hits with a strong, smooth surge. If I twist hard from a dead stop on loose ground, the front end gets light. It is exciting, but it is also a nudge to be measured until the tires hook up. Once rolling, the power delivery feels linear and predictable. Pedal assist has sensible steps. I tend to leave it in a middle setting around town where I still do a mild workout, and then I bump it up when I find a long hill or a sandy section. The chassis stays composed at speed. I do not get that nervous shimmy that some lighter electric bikes have. The fat tires and long wheelbase settle it down, and quick direction changes still feel precise enough for traffic. Braking feels like it belongs on a fast machine. 4-piston hydraulic calipers have a firm initial bite, and then a lot of modulation through the lever travel. I can trail brake into corners without drama, and long downhills do not fade the feel. In the wet, I still get consistent stopping power, which counts for a lot when the bike carries real speed and mass. Speaking of mass, it is heavy. The published weight is just under 90 pounds, and I feel that anytime I lift the rear to clear a step or try to carry it. Rolling it around is no problem. Carrying it upstairs every day would be a no for me. The weight has a payoff, though. On fast descents with crosswinds or surprise potholes, the bike tracks through instead of getting deflected. I would rather wrestle it once in a while than ride something that gets skittish. Power and range are the heart of this machine. On paper, it claims a combined peak around 5,000 watts, and out in the real world, I rarely needed to push it that far to feel satisfied. Hills that used to have me standing on pedals just melt away. With both motors on, I have climbed grades where a normal bike would have me walking. Compared with single-motor fat tire bikes I have tried, the extra traction up front is a real advantage in loose gravel and on wet grass. If I prefer a calmer ride or want to save battery, single-motor mode still moves fast and smooth. The battery is a 52-volt, 38-amp-hour unit, and it is a workhorse. On mixed rides with plenty of stops, starts, and some throttle-only stretches, I consistently see around 60 to 70 miles on a full charge. If I ride mostly in pedal assist and keep the speed reasonable, I can stretch it closer to 90 miles. That takes me through a week of commuting without a midweek charge. When I do plug in, a full refill takes about 6 to 8 hours. The removable design means the bike can stay in the garage while the battery charges in the house. The system uses 2 keys, one to power the bike and one to lock and unlock the battery, which makes me feel better when I park outside a store. Comfort is what surprised me most over time. Full suspension setups are not always tuned well on electric bikes in this category. Here, the front fork and the rear shock are not high-end mountain parts, but they are more than good enough for the job. They soak up potholes, curb drops, and washboard gravel without tossing me around. I did tighten the rear spring a turn to prevent bottoming on sharper hits, and that simple tweak made the back half feel firmer without losing comfort. The fat tires do the rest, absorbing chatter that a skinny tire would pass to my hands and lower back. I put this through a handful of real routes. My weekday ride is roughly 9 miles each way through patched city pavement, a short stretch of broken cobblestones, and a climb with a steep pitch near the end. In single-motor mode with a middle pedal assist setting, I arrive without sweat and without feeling like I bobbied the bike. I can pass traffic when it opens up, and the brakes keep me composed when a car decides to dive into my lane. On the weekend, I took it to a sandy trailhead with a mix of packed dirt and soft drifts. With both motors on, I could keep moving across soft sections that usually swallow narrower tires. Staying seated and letting the torque pull me through was the trick. I also tested a frozen morning ride on packed snow around a park loop. Traction was better than I expected. I rode at a conservative speed, and the dual motor setup kept the front end from washing out. At night, the headlight throws a wide, bright beam that reaches far enough to see potholes early. The horn baked into that light is one of those small features I now use daily. It is faster than a thumb bell and it cuts through city noise. A couple of caveats came up during these rides. The throttle is strong right off idle, so I learned to roll it on smoothly in tight spaces. The bike's size and weight will not fit everyone. I let a friend who is 5'7" try it, and while the seat could be lowered enough, the reach still felt long to him for sustained pedaling. The brand claims it fits a wide height range. From my time on it, riders much under 5'8" may want to test ride to make sure the cockpit does not feel stretched. The other note is legal. With the kind of speed this bike can reach, it may not be street legal in many places without registration. I mostly ride on private property, trails that allow electric bikes like this, and bike lanes at reasonable speeds, but I still make sure to check local rules before using full power on public roads. There are also small touches that make life easier. The integrated brake light is not just bright, it actually responds clearly even in daylight, so drivers notice when I slow. The display is simple to navigate. I can see speed, battery estimate, trip distance, and assist level at a glance, and I have not had to dig through menus to change simple things. The included horn means I do not need to add clutter to the bars. The battery lock gives me peace of mind when I park for a coffee. The stand holds the heavy frame confidently on dirt. I even rode through a light drizzle without any electrical weirdness. I still avoid big puddles as a habit, but normal wet weather riding has been uneventful. The use case that sold me is a blended day that starts as a commute and turns into an exploration. I leave home, roll through traffic with pedal assist doing most of the work, lock up outside a meeting, then head out after work to chase a dirt service road along a river. Switching from single motor to dual motor with that red button changes the mood in a second. On gravel, I sit down, keep a steady cadence, and the bike just pulls. I get home with battery to spare, no sore back, and a smile that I do not usually get from a standard commuter ride. I would not call this a small or subtle bike. It is a deliberate choice for people who want power, comfort, and range, and who have room to store something substantial. It rewards riders who plan to tackle mixed conditions, bigger riders who want a stable platform, and anyone who values traction and braking that match the power on tap. If someone needs to carry a bike upstairs every day, or has a shorter reach and wants a compact frame, this would not be my first recommendation. For me, it hits that sweet spot where adventure and daily utility overlap. I respect the speed, I appreciate the safety net of strong brakes and bright lights, and I love that I can press one button and turn a calm cruiser into a hill-destroying machine. If you want a powerful electric bike that feels solid under stress, cruises long distances without range anxiety, and handles sloppy surfaces with confidence, the TUTTIO Moan Pro earns a serious look. I have had a blast riding it, and it has changed how I plan my rides because I no longer worry about whether the route gets rough or steep. Please check the comments section for detailed information about the TUTTIO Moan Pro. Thank you for watching.